Hey everybody, and welcome to the Low Level Boss podcast. I'm your host Charles, and today I have with me Michael, Brandon, and Jared. How you doing, guys?
Michael from Couples War. Normally you say that, but
I'm trying to switch it up a little bit, just keep it different. So
whatever. But
we have Michael's from Couples War,
Thank
Brandon,
you, bitch.
who is Bloodless Duck, or just Ducky if you ever see me playing a game with him.
Yeah.
And then we have Jared, who is Dark Jack Wolf, and you can find him on pretty much anything titled Dark Jack Wolf.
Yeah,
He's all over social media.
even the really old websites that don't really exist anymore, you can find me there too.
What, you
Check
got,
out
like,
my MySpace at.
or a tripod, or an Angel Fire. You got a GeoCities page, or what?
What's your IRC numbers, guys? That's
So,
actually popular to give out your IRC numbers. Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah. No,
And, like,
I
Linux
don't know if I
games
ever
and
joined those like old. What was it? It was just like
I know.
on audio chat rooms, or was it just a text chat? I don't remember.
I haven't used it in a long time. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be text. I think you can have audio, but it was supposed to be your unique number, and then you can always send a message through it.
Yeah.
It's just like another MSN or whatever those others are.
Man, I remember my mom kicked me off the internet once because I was talking to people in chat rooms by myself. I was like 8.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I actually had a guy telling me that he was in high school. In my high school, like, he went to high school with me, and later on told me that he was like 38, and my dad's like, "Yeah, we need you to not go there anymore."
Whoa. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about today was, I know you were really excited about this game, Michael. H1Z1.
yes.
This happened a couple days ago.
Oh my God.
H1Z1 is getting turned into 2 separate games. They have to buy separately, I
Wait,
believe. It's
2 separate games. One just zombie and one survival or something.
one is called Just Survive. H1Z1 Just Survive, and it will, according to this, Just Survive will retain H1Z1's open world, persistent multiplayer gameplay, as well as its crafting and base building features. Now, H1Z1 King of the Hill will focus on instant multiplayer combat. So that'll be just kind of like seems almost like a run of the mill. I wouldn't say like Call of Duty. It might be closer to something like Grand Theft Auto, where you just kind of put into like a small little area where you can sit there and combat each other. I feel like that could actually ruin the Just Survive game, because those combat situations are so rare that the excitement of them is you can sit there when you come across another person and you get into this combat situation that never happens. You're inexperienced and you don't know what's going to happen, and it kind of gives that like random chaotic element to it.
So basically, they're doing Just Survive, which is going to be H1Z1 as it is,
Yeah.
and then King of the Hill will just be PvP.
Yeah, it'll be arena based. So they'll put you you'll probably have a loadout of some sort,
So
and they'll put you in a small little area.
That's basically I don't like that, just because that's what H1Z1 timeout. I was thinking Daisy.
Oh.
It's all the same.
I was like, yeah, okay. So H1Z1. Now, what happens if you already bought the game? Do you get both? Or is this just for consoles?
Real quickly, H1Z1, that one's not the one that got all the flack from like all the community for
That's
not.
what I wanted to ask.
So
this is the one that
H1Z1
is
the one
backed by
Sony.
Sony Online Entertainment.
Okay, so I don't think it's the same one. What was that one called?
World
The one that
War Z?
changed
that
names.
was
War Z.
War Z.
War Z, and it got turned into
Infestation
Survivor
Survival
Stories.
Story.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
All right.
I was thinking the same thing, Brandon. I was wondering, H1Z1, is this the one that was like, yeah, got all that flack?
Which is why you were getting confused about. You're like, oh no, Daisy, no, not Daisy. It was these are a lot of these are so similar. Like H1Z1. Oh no, it's not that one. It's War Z. Oh,
Yeah. So
the
Okay.
infection.
now
So,
I'm
yeah,
on
that's kind of weird, because like in this kind of
they already
situation,
have that.
this would be one game. It'd be like
So, hold
just
on.
2 different modes. They're separating it, and they're going to each cost $20. So it's
stay,
not.
stay where you're at.
Oh,
This will be available on Windows as well as PlayStation. So
Oh wow.
timeout. They're just trying to make a cash cow, I think, because right
Oh, yeah.
now you have battle royales, which are the arena. And that I think is the
Yeah.
biggest thing for that part of the game where people are doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're splitting up that game and making it two separate ones.
Yes,
Like-
I don't like that.
Yeah. And they're $20 a pop, which I think the game was how much was the game? Was that $20 when you bought it?
No, I think I got it at like 10 or 15 certain pre-order area.
Whoa. Yeah.
But now it's up there.
Because I feel like this game would be like, you know, an easy like $25, $30 for the whole thing, but now it's broken up into altogether $40, and
So
that's kind of
this
expensive.
is the one thing that would, you know, if they decide that, you know, okay, sell $20 just for one, and then you want the other one, and they discount you on the second one to where you can buy both for
Okay. Yeah.
$30, I can see that, but
Yeah. Like, I can see on paper how it can be a good thing. It's like, oh, hey, we're just piecing up this game so you buy the best portion you want. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But when it gets too expensive, then you're just trying to make more money off of what was used to be one product. Now you're all of a sudden turning it into two for no apparent reason.
exactly.
That's what they tend to do with a lot of DLCs. I think this is to have a similar model, but, you know, make it seem like, oh, no, we're just releasing two companion games. It's like, no, you're actually buying one game, and then the other's probably going to be almost like a DLC that costs just as much.
Yeah, I need to see how that is going to be, but right now I'm not so sure.
It's really iffy.
Yeah.
All right, so on to some better news. Rocket League is coming to Xbox One next week.
Still haven't had a chance to try that. Still haven't played it. Everyone tells me it's good, but I don't know. I haven't played it yet.
I don't know what it is. I've been playing it like all week, and then I've gotten Lily addicted to it too. So
Now here's the thing: all our cars gonna go over?
Xbox recorded.
Are they gonna go over? What do you mean?
Yeah, because so currently my Rocket League, I've on.
Oh, did your account like transition your stuff?
Yeah. If I could link my Steam account, that'd be perfect.
Oh,
because
man,
I don't
yeah.
think. I don't know.
I'm at 90% on the computer for achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, achievements are not gonna. I can tell you right now,
Well,
achievements are not gonna move over. That's
Like, I don't want to be stuck on my. Oh shit.
So you'd lose like progress or like.
I wouldn't lose progress, but my car looks badass.
Oh.
And it's
it
I
won't
would have
take
to
long to
buy
get the
the
cosmetics,
DLC
but
for that.
it does take time.
it's all DLC for me.
It's a $20 package. 3 of the games. It looks like you'll get the for the $20 you'll get those DLCs, and then you'll get console exclusive cars
Oh.
too.
Okay, so you know what? Fuck. It's just like Minecraft. They hook you and then hey, we're going out here.
But yeah, so I don't think anything will transition over, especially achievements, because
Yeah.
that's one of the things is if you can cheat on the PC and you were able to like port it over to the Xbox, it would break the system. That's the whole point. A lot of people like those achievements because they are legitimate forms of showing that you've completed something.
True.
The problem with the PlayStation trophies was a while back they had an exploit to where you can get any trophy you wanted to, and so that's why a lot of people didn't really care for it too much because the system was just not. It did not work. If you can cheat it, then that means scores are inaccurate or just you can cheat too easily. Whereas I think on the achievements for the Xbox, they never had like anybody breakthrough.
Okay,
I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I would like to get on the Xbox One just so I can, I don't know, play at the same time because maybe you can do the cross-platform kind of gaming because I know you can do it for the PS4 and PC right now.
Yeah, they're gonna do the same for Xbox.
Yeah,
Now,
which that's really cool. It's like
that's
you have
gonna
like these
be-
console wars in a game. That's so yeah.
I don't know how. See, now I'm gonna want to move the Xbox into my office.
Yeah,
So
you just got it in your
because
front living room.
yeah, and get a capture card so it streams better. It's not all going on my computer.
I've seen, I think, where people they have a separate computer just to like you feed in your output from one computer that does all the gaming or whatever, and then use the other computer to like take care of all of the streaming aspects. And you have
Yeah,
a
so-
recording.
I had that. I actually had a computer, but
Oh,
there's
wow,
a
that's cool.
motherboard issue. What I had my computer set up to where I could stream from my gaming desktop using VLC, which would run in the background to the other computer. And it wouldn't take as much computer resources as like OBS or XSplit Broadcaster, so it allowed me to play better. But the other computer has died.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where it's like, do you spend money on a new computer or do you spend money on your current computer to get it up to par?
Yeah, right.
So it's like you got to balance that.
It's a constant struggle.
Well, can't do either of those right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when money's going well. You know.
Well, you've also got a wedding you're planning too, so
Yeah.
That's true.
Finances, just your time too.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be a while before I get it, but $20.
Yeah.
That's not bad, and they give you some add-ons.
Yeah, it looks like the add-ons that I've already got.
Yeah.
Except maybe the Revenge of the Battle Cars, I don't think I have.
Yeah. It looks like it's to make up for like the lost time that Xbox One players haven't been able to play the game.
Yeah.
And they're also getting Armadillo from Gears of War, Hog Sticker, which is a Warthog variant from Halo, and then they'll get some Sunset Overdrive cosmetic items.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'll probably play it on that too. I'll see if it's just any better. I don't know. It's a pretty simple game.
It might run better on the Xbox.
It might not. I've been seeing a lot of games have like really bad issues when ported over, or not ported over, but made for PCs and Xboxes. It seems like there's some games. I think it would, Just Cause 3 had a lot of issues running on consoles, like to where people just didn't buy it that much and they bought it on the PC. So.
Well, I'll keep playing on the PC.
Yeah.
Plugging my channel right now. I'm editing a video for the Save of the Year candidate already.
For the what?
My Save of the Year candidate.
Oh. Yeah, that'll be cool. We should probably do that. Just like do a whole bunch of highlight videos just of us. Playing.
Yeah, no way you can top this save.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Another thing I wanted to talk about. I'll talk about that later.
All right, cool.
Brandon, have you heard of De Novo anti-tamper?
What? No, I'm not
it's
sure.
It's an anti-piracy technology used on games.
Oh.
The newest one being, I just said it earlier, Just Cause 3.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't heard of it.
Well, it used to be back in the day, cracker or video game pirates would be able to crack a game like hours after it came out, right? Would you say that's like more accurate? Well, this technology came out and it took them a month, and then they developed it and put it on Just Cause 3. I don't think they've been able to crack Just Cause 3 at all since it was released in January. And this group, they're called 3DM, I think. They're a Chinese-based hacking or cracking group. They've said at this point, piracy is not going to be a part of the future. It's just not going to happen anymore, because it's taking so long to crack this game that by the time they do crack it, people are not going to care about the game anymore. It's going to be old news.
Interesting. Huh.
So
I haven't even heard about that. That's funny.
Given like a hacker or a cracker enough time, they'll eventually break any system, right?
Right. Yeah.
But what if you can prolong that time out so long that it's not even
People
worth
get
it
bored.
anymore?
Yeah, and maybe it's not in a couple hours. It could probably take days for like the bigger games, whatever, backed by bigger publishers. But yeah, a month does still seem like quite a bit of time to break a game. And I think with something like Just Cause, it's kind of like a game that you're just kind of supposed to jump in and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they finally crack it, a lot of people are just gonna be getting bored of the game anyway. It's not a game that has
it
it's
doesn't
not
have
like
that lasting appeal. It's considered popcorn. Like it's good to have like a little bit of, but you can't sit there and play it over and over again.
So I guess it was pretty smart on on their part, I guess, with that, because they probably knew about how long the general public would be interested, and the amount of time it took to actually break the game. Maybe a lot of people gave up, and that's why it ended up taking so long, because there was only a few diehard people working on it or something.
Yeah, this is like a legitimate this is a group trying to do it. I don't know what their cause is.
Wow.
But they've basically said at this point they're going to stop pirating for a year to just see how that affects like the gaming economy, if it affects sales or anything. But they're saying if this technology, specifically de novo, if this keeps being developed, piracy is just going to be like, it's going to be gone. It's not going to be worth it. Nobody's going to do it anymore. So here's like the list of the games that it uses, or that it's being used on, is FIFA 15, Lords of the Fallen, Dragon Age Inquisition, Battlefield Hardline, Batman Arkham Knight, Metal Gear Solid 5, Mad Max, FIFA 16, Star Wars Battlefront, Just Cause 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Far Cry Primal. So those are some really big titles that they're putting this technology on.
Yeah, I remember BioShock came with a really tough like anti-piracy thing, you know, and it ended up forcing the game to break in certain points if it detected there was. So I've noticed that some of the bigger titles are utilizing these like off the wall anti-piracy measures. I don't know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think I think in some ways I think they if they do too much of it, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because I think they're alienating people. Like, I think when people play games, like sometimes when they that a good chunk of those people, even if they download them illegally, are going to go and buy them, especially if they really like them, And sure, it's to say that some of the people who would have paid money didn't pay money and ended up torrenting it or something.
Yeah.
But I think even all in all, I think the extra exposure from people playing it is actually always a net positive. I think it's been shown in the past.
I think with certain games that actually works. I would say my stand on it is, for the most part, I don't like piracy on games. But I would say, like, certain games, it does benefit. Like, you can probably sit there and say, like, these people, they made YouTube videos or whatever, and they got the name out there. But then there's certain games, specifically ones that are server-based, where they took a look at, I think it was one of the Crysis games, or it was an indie developer, I don't know. They went on their server and they said, okay, if we look at all these guys that are playing right now, 90% of them are using a pirated copy. We've not gotten any money from these guys. And they are, right now, using up our system, so they're actually costing us money. So, on multiplayer kind of aspects, those people are not getting money. They're actually losing money. Single player, you can sit there and you can argue that this gets more exposure for a game that might have just kind of like died out because it would the market's too oversaturated with more indie titles. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting because it's going to be kind of like a cool test for them to sit there and say, okay, we're not going to pirate for a whole year, and we're going to see how it does. So there's always an argument like, oh, it could do this, it could do this. Well, we're actually going to see it in the next year. Like, we're going to see if games actually kind of like don't sell as well for the next for the future. And so this will actually be a good, like, definitive piece of evidence on either side. So I think it'll be cool.
That's true.
So it's like no more speculation. It's like, hey, we can use this as a case study.
Yeah, even still though, if there's money to be made, a lot of times people will fight, I think, against their own interests if they think they're saving money when in fact they may be actually pushing people away. But
yeah, well, like, yeah, I know a lot of people's issues with fighting piracy is a lot of times DRM just breaks games to the point where it's like, if I go pirate this right now, I can play it, whereas I just bought it and I can't play it. That's when it gets really, really bad. But if they can create like a system that helps, this anti-tamper technology without like.
Yeah, I think people brought it up in the past that before Netflix, torrenting I think was, it was even higher, and I think a lot of it was because not only people were getting free, but it was accessible. It was easy to just download a movie and play it. And if a game maker makes something so inaccessible when you pay for it, you may get people end up say, fuck it, I might as well download it because the guy cracked it and took away this annoying thing that made the game break. I've experienced that with a couple big titles that ones I paid for. I think BioShock Infinite, it kept telling me that it would kept kicking me out, and then I read somewhere that it thinks that my game was invalid, or it was downloaded, but I actually had paid for actually paid for the game, I think, through Steam, and it was kept doing that.
I thought you bought the collector's edition of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I paid for multiple versions. I was really into that game when it came out. Probably talked about it in the past. So, But when I first got it, I was having problems with it. It kept kicking me out. And then I finally saw. I went to some forum. They explained that you can like reinstall your game, whatever, through Steam or something, and you can do this other thing, and it'll make it go away. And it finally did. And it took me like 4 or 5 hours before I even got in game. And I thought, man, if I just download, I probably would have already playing it. So sometimes I could see why people get frustrated with usability.
Yeah. I mean, if they do develop like a technology that's like 100%, that's awesome. But I get the aspect of I don't want DRM. It's creating. I just can't play the game. I think there's been a lot of good models of people where they created a completely open system and they made a lot of money. Like you guys know the comedian Louis C.K., right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He had a special that he was like, hey guys, I'm gonna put out this video and I'm gonna do it myself. It's gonna come out of my own pocket. He saved up enough money from his productions, and he was just gonna put it into it and have a almost like a ticketing distribution system. How it was built was you'd go to his website, you'd pay $5, you'd get a little video file of his stuff. There's no DRM. You don't have to use it on any other service. It was just a legitimate little file that you could sit there and carry around with you and play it. And he was like, I'm just gonna sit there and this is basically a test. I'm just gonna put this out there. It's only $5, and if you want to pirate it, you can, but you just need to understand you're taking from me. You're not taking from a big company. You're just taking from me. And the dude made so much money off that special because he made it so easy to get. Like I went on there and I put $5 in, just a credit card, and it was just like, here you go, here's your file. There was nothing. There was no, I don't have to download this service. I don't have to take a survey or anything like that. It was just I pay my $5. I got my file, and I thought that was like a good little study of if you just put it out there, you make it easier for people to buy it. They're gonna buy it instead of getting it from somewhere else, usually. So.
Yeah, I think another one for me was Dark Souls 2, or is it? No, it was Dark Souls 1. It originally came out on the PS3, and they released the PC version. I really want to do that because I could play the game in 60 frames per second with a 1080p opposed to 720, 30 frames locked, at like 15 frame rate slowdown in some places. But on the PC, I could run everything smoothly. And but the only thing is, you had to use Games for Windows Live, which was this program that I think was like, I don't know when it was created, but it was really big with, I think, Halo 2 when that came to PC. And it's just this god-awful program that always crashes and disconnects, and then you lose your connection from the damn game. And it was this way to prevent piracy, because if you downloaded Dark Souls, great, but you couldn't play with all the other players because it's almost a multiplayer-like game.
Yeah.
And but without Windows Live, you have to use other customer servers, and it's a pain, and you don't get the stability that the company would provide.
Yeah, I had problems with Windows Live, and I'm glad it's dead now, because when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4.
Games from that's crazy.
It was already weird. I had to sign into Steam, boot up Grand Theft Auto 4, and then when Grand Theft Auto 4 came up, I had to log into Windows Live, and then when that was done, I had to log into the Rockstar Social Club. I was just like, I just want to play this game, jeez. But I had fun. There was no problems. It was okay. And then I got to a point where I was like 30 to 40 hours in. I was getting close to the end of the game, and it said, "Oh, hey, there's something wrong with your key or your little access number." And I was like, "Okay." It's like, "Okay, re-enter it." And it pops down, and it has my key already still in there. I'm like, "Oh, well, just re-enter that." Okay, why isn't Windows Live working? Okay, why is this not going through? And I couldn't play the game because Windows Live, the little HUD thing popped open. I couldn't close it. I couldn't say, "Okay, this is my number."
Oh god!
It literally just blocked me out of even just playing the game at all. I was just like, "Oh, well, okay, fine. I'm not gonna play this." I don't like Grand Theft Auto 4. That sucked anyways. Yeah, so I can see where DRM is the issue, but I also think that piracy is not necessarily a good idea unless you have a certain type of business model that kind of accounts for that. Whereas you offer the game free, and then you have some sort of other service that's paid for. I think those actually work really well.
Yeah, I guess clarify my opinion on it. I think if the business allows easeability to purchase your products, give you affordable rates on their software, I think people are going to buy it. When people have money, they buy it. Like when I have money, I buy my games. That's exactly what I do. I'm excited. I'm like, yes, I can go buy something. When I have money, I don't buy my games. I think piracy is more of just it isn't as much about people trying to not spend money as much as want something that's it's easier to handle. I think that's why Netflix got really good, because once that came out, everyone was paying for Netflix because they were like, it was easy. You just signed in and now you're watching movies, and people
Yeah.
were paying it because they made it easy to pay for it and made it easy to do. And I think Steam is a great example of that. They made it easy to buy games. They have great deals, and then you can buy games when at a lot less
Yeah,
price. Now,
there's a lunar sale going on right now, by the way.
with what?
The lunar sale, the Lunar New Year sale. Sorry.
What's that?
Well, now they have winter sale, summer sale, and Lunar New Year sale.
Okay.
Things are. It's just like a summer sale, a Steam summer sale.
Oh God, I don't know what I was thinking.
What is this? It's
I think
Lunar
it's-
New Year once again. A time to travel home, reunite with family. Your first obstacle is a massive body of water. Do you swim across or hitch a ride and drive?
Oh, it's this little
Onward.
story, and like, let's say you pick swimming. They'll do aquatic games, so like BioShock 2, Subnautica,
Oh, that's
BioShock.
so awesome.
And so they create this like little story, and it's just to help you kind of discover games. And so like on this one, you
Gotcha.
either have to go with the pirates or the ninjas. If you click the ninjas, it's gonna have ninja-based games. So it's a cool way just to like get you to find games that you might not normally have found.
And this is Steam?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They just put like a
yeah.
little narrative to. their
I
set.
don't want to suck Gabe Newell's dick too hard, but yeah, I gotta I really feel like Steam is going in the right direction. I like a lot of the decisions they make. I think sometimes I think I could disagree on some things, but I
Yeah.
think for the most part, I think they make it easy to buy games, and it allows for smaller developers to actually make money off of them.
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, that was
I
one of
think
the
that's a big
issues
problem.
why I disagreed with like people saying like, well, if this game's not worth it, I want to try it before I buy it. So I'm gonna sit there and pirate it and get it for free, and then if I like it, I'll pay for it. Which I think a lot of people are like that. They'll pay for it if they can. But I don't like that mentality, because it causes them to go after these big titles when there's a lot of indie titles that do need attention that are free that people can download. I think when you focus on the big guys a little too much, even when you say that you don't have the money for it, I don't know if that's just relevant anymore. Like back in the day, yeah, because there wasn't that many game developers. But since the whole game development boom, there's a lot more indie people that could use the attention. And a lot of times they put their stuff out there for either really cheap or free. At least they're little proof of concepts, and then they come out with like the full game later, which I think that's the preferred way to do it. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little bit more complicated than just. I guess it's not really a surface issue. I just think
Yeah.
that I don't know. It's one of those issues that you can't just sit there and be like, oh, this is the right path. It's like, well, maybe there's something in the middle.
Yeah, and you can't, ignore big guys too much too, because I'm a cheerleader for some big companies. It's cool that they have the money and the personnel to really make some amazing things. I like that we I just don't want games to become infinitely inflating in price, and
Yeah.
by means of other, not only do every time a new console come out, the games are $10 more than the last generation, but now they have DLCs on everything, or
Yeah.
those treasure boxes and stuff like that. So it's
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, if you focus more on the indie people that are actually doing it right, they're not so much trying to make a business model, more as like their own like pet project, which those pet projects tend to be way better than the big games, because they're made out of love. The person has attention to detail in it. They're not just trying to get something out there. They're building something that they would want to play themselves. And so I'd rather just focus on them, really. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're both pretty similar or on similar pages.
Yeah, I think actually mostly. I think even when we had our little thing on Facebook, I learned afterwards. I was like, I don't think me and Charles are actually arguing.
I think I just yeah,
I think
because we
we're
had like a little
passionately-
political discussion. I think I misspoke on a certain thing, and I think that's where it just like veered from that. And then when I clarified, you're like, oh, wait, we're not really arguing. We're just yelling at each other the same thing.
I do that too much. So if I ever do that like, on a podcast with someone needs to ground me. Like I think one time in college, there was this math question, and I don't know. We argued about something really in simple based math. We're in a calculus class, and me and him both we're pretty good at math, and it's programming. And me and him had a disagreement about something. We were arguing. Eventually, we were yelling at each other, and we started writing on the board, like passionately writing out like why each other was wrong. And then he wrote one thing, and I was like, "Oh, you're talking about that?" And he's like, yeah, I was talking about the denominator. Oh, I thought you were talking about the numerator. Oh,
Yeah.
never
That was
mind,
exactly
bro.
you and me the other day.
Never mind. Sorry, man. Someone recorded it and put it on YouTube or something. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, just from an outside perspective, they're like, they're saying the exact same thing. Why are they yelling? Oh, that was fun though. I had a good laugh afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon, you silly.
Yeah,
You silly
Brandon.
Okay, so on a lighter note, we're getting too much of a gray area, because a lot of these issues, it's just like, oh, well, you can go this way, or you can find like a compromise. I want to bring up a story that's a little bit old, but I think we can both agree on how just bad it is. The title for this is Ant Simulator Canceled After Crowdfunding Money Spent on Liquor and Strippers.
That's awesome.
Oh, great.
So
Man.
apparently, there was this game. It's just called Ant Simulator. It's just another one of those, I think making a joke of simulators.
All the simulators.
And all the crowdfunding money was spent by the leaders on liquor, restaurants, and strippers instead of being used to finish the game. And so everybody they didn't have enough money to make the game anymore.
Well, wasn't it that there was one guy that was really working on it, and then there was just the three other guys that were just kind of helping, and they're the ones that spent the money,
Yeah.
and he kind of got screwed over?
That was the main story that came out. I think there was something that was a little bit off about it, but I can't really say. But that was what was being said, was the one guy who was working on it realized that he went to his coworkers. He's like, okay, we need some capital or some of the money for this, and they were like, there's no more money. He's like, where did it go? And he explained it as that they just spent it on luxury. They just went out and spent it on not the game. And so this guy had to publicly apologize and say it's canceled. The money's gone. And I think there's, I don't know, maybe I'm just going off of speculation, but that's what the main story is yeah, 2 out of the 3 guys or so just really screwed it up for everybody. And since they were partial owners of the franchise, he can't come out with it anymore, because it's partially owned by them, so he can't just go on his own and do it. And it's just he doesn't have the money for it either.
Lame.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what was this on? It was on Kickstarter?
And so it's canceled. It was some sort of Kickstarter. I think it was. Yeah, it says
Because,
Kickstarter
like,
money. So.
It's because depending on the site, if it was Kickstarter, couldn't the backers sue them?
I don't think it necessarily works that way, because a lot of times what people don't realize is they're investing in something, and that something can go wrong. Because there's been a couple times where campaigns have just been like, all the money's gone, and people are getting upset. And I think people are starting to realize now why certain companies, when they're funding a game, act a certain way. Like, why won't they just fund like a particular game? Like, hey, everybody wants this. It's like, well, that's not necessarily a full like an accurate representation of how a game is funded. They do have to put up money. Me and Jared have talked before. It was his name was Zach Braff. It was Zach Braff, right?
Yeah.
He was making a movie, and he wanted to do a Kickstarter and get it funded for his movie. And everybody just said, well, you're a TV star. Why don't you just pay for it with your own money? He said, no, I'm going to use Kickstarter. The reason why he used Kickstarter was, you don't use your own money to do this, because it is an investment and the money could be lost. And if you don't make that back, then you're just out of that money. So, maybe they could sue. There is probably something in Kickstarter where you can get like a refund. But I know the Yogscast, I don't know if you guys ever knew them or followed them. They got a Kickstarter to go and make a game, and they paid the guy, the money, all pretty much up front, or however they did it. But they paid this guy the money to start the game, and he used up all the money, and then said, okay, well, where's the game at? And he's like, well, we used up all the money. And they were like, okay. And they couldn't do anything because they didn't have the guy in a contract. They just, because you're giving these people like that have no business experience, no experience in investing money. You're giving them a bunch of money to do something, and they're not necessarily well equipped to do that. And that's why you see these kind of things pop up. A a lot of times people don't realize the hidden costs that go into backing a project like this, or funding a movie, or even like giving out the prizes to the backers. A lot of times, most of the money is spent on the gifts given back to the backers.
Oh wow.
Like I saw people that were funding a reboot of Power Rangers to be a more gritty, Christopher Nolan kind of style.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that.
And a lot of the backers were getting replica stabs of one of the bad guys, and it was just like, how are you able to afford that? That's expensive. Like, the money that they're giving you barely covers that staff that you're going to give back to them. You're not making any money. So a lot of people they just don't realize it. They go, oh hey, we need $4,000, so we're just going to put the $4,000 up for the goal because that's what we need for money. It's like, well, you got to count, paying your employees, whoever's working on the game, the cost of distribution, the cost of the gifts, and then you're down to like what, maybe $1,000 left over when you needed 4,000. So I don't know. It's just a Kickstarter is kind of like, it might have killed, like a lot of the Kickstarters might have killed like the whole funding some indie stuff kind of deal.
On a side note, did that get like what do you call it? Canceled because of the people who own the rights to Power Rangers told them to stop?
I don't. Here, let me look it up real quick because I'm just recalling from memory.
Because I saw the trailer for it because they got some actual footage, and to me it looked awesome. Like I was actually really excited about it, and then
yeah, I remember watching that too, and it was like a cool gritty like kind of deal.
What's his name from Dawson's Creek was in it, I think.
Yeah, this was it. They got $41,000 out of $18,000.
Jeez. Well, people wanted it. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's not canceled, I guess. It's still in the works.
Really? Huh. I heard it got shut down. That's interesting.
This says
Maybe...
episode 1.
Maybe they worked out a deal or something.
I thought they made. I don't know. Maybe they're able to, because if you made this film and you put it up on YouTube and you did not monetize it, could you get away with that?
I think so, as long as you don't monetize.
But what about like you're getting money from Kickstarter? Does that not count under that?
It depends on what you're giving as the prize levels.
No, yeah, but people are paying you for.
Yes, but they're not buying the Power Rangers product.
Well, isn't that kind of what Kickstarter is, though? Usually, what you're doing is when you buy it, usually your prize. Oh, I see what you're saying. Depends on the prize. Okay.
Okay, never mind. It gets thrown out the window. They're getting a DVD of it, so. But yeah, along the lines, if they're giving them money with no intent of it being returned back to them, but yet they can get this prize for free. So I guess you could probably it could probably be legal under the guise of you're not buying the DVD, you're just backing our little project, and we're going to give you a DVD as a gift. Now they can probably sue them and shut them down because that's if that comes across the judge, he can probably find a law saying like no, this is wrong. But it's one of those things where if you can kind of like BS your way through it, you might be fine.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go onto a YouTube channel and let's say you and me started making some short films about Power Rangers, Half-Life, just all these different IPs, and we don't put any ads on it, right? But then we make a Patreon account where people pay us money for us to keep doing what we're doing. Is that legal?
Right, yeah.
Because they're not buying those existing IPs or products from us. They're just helping fund us so that way we can continue doing this free, public domain, fair use, whatever you want to call it, all these projects. So it's like there's ways to get around that.
So now we're back in that gray area that you said you wanted to get away from.
Yeah. Well, this is more of a leak. I don't know. It's all gray areas, dude.
Everything's gray.
At
least to talk.
What else? Okay, so we already covered that. Rocket League.
So I've got
news. Right?
News. Well, yeah. So I had access to the closed beta of Homefront last week, and it was just for a stress test. And this weekend they've got what's it called? They've got another closed beta test, but it's going to be just for Xbox. And everybody that I talked to while playing is guessing it's going to be a little bit more polished than the stress test. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I got tired of like the Call of Duty first-person shooters.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
one thing that I like about Homefront, well, so one, it's mainly going to be single player. I think it's a single player open world. I haven't done anything with that. The closed beta was part of, it was like something resistance. So it was like a resistance game mode.
Okay.
So you grouped up with up to 3 other people, and you buy weapons by doing missions and getting cash.
Yeah.
So far it seems like everything you unlock through the game just by getting the cash from doing the missions.
Okay.
And then you buy like weapon crates or gear crates, things like that, and you get a random item.
Okay.
Now, talking to people, I had mixed things of how the gameplay would be. Did anyone play the original Homefront?
No, I didn't play it.
Okay.
I think I did see like enough footage from it to know that it was a plot-driven first-person shooter. It was kind of
single player was.
Yeah.
The multiplayer was basically a clone, other than they had real support roles that you got credit for.
Support what?
Like, support roles. So like I could sit back with a drone and mark enemies, and then as soon as they died, once they were marked, I got an assist point.
Yeah, that usually works out way better for FPSs, because when you just have everybody basically play like an assault class, it gets kind of boring because everybody's just doing the same thing. And if you're not all that great at shooting, you're not going to have a fun time playing it. But if you're kind of bad at shooting, but you're good at support, if a game gives that kind of extra like dimension to it, you can have a lot more fun, and the fights get a little bit more dynamic, and you can actually have like a tactical kind of plan on when you're doing these game modes.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people, they don't like Battlefield, but what Battlefield does great is if you want to, you can just play an engineer or a medic or something of that kind of lines, and you support the people that are in the front lines doing the shooting, where you can play a different sort of game, really.
Yep.
And so it gives you like different ways to play if you're kind of getting bored of one way, and I think that helps make a game last. So that's interesting.
One thing with Homefront that's more than Battlefront is it seems like it's going to be team-based, strategy-based when you do the resistant fights, because they're co-op. Yeah, and you're
so
just going against the computer.
You're going against bots and stuff like that, right?
Yes. And so what they're trying to get you to do is fight guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
So you do pivoted or you do targeted attacks quickly, and then you get out of there.
Okay. Have you played anything like Killing Floor? Or,
no.
What else? I think there was another game that was similar to that. Well, in Killing Floor, what you do is you're not fighting each other. You're banding together and fighting a horde of zombies, wave after wave. Are they going to include that? Because that would actually fit into that storyline of fighting, like, what is it, Chinese?
I think it's Koreans, but I don't see how that would fit in with and be their own kind of deal. So the resistance mode, one of them was like enemies at the gate. So you start off and they've got roaming vehicles, they've got patrols and everything, and they want you to go hack their radio antenna towers, and so you have to go and do that.
Yeah, you said it's objective based as well, not just just fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And then so you go with your team, and I'm excited if I can find people to play this with on occasion or regularly, to say, okay, you're this role, I'm this role. This is how we're going to attack it out. Kind of like how Payday was co-op, where we planned everything out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like it's a pay to win. because
No, because
it's a
you're
co-op.
yeah, you're co-op. You're not having direct domination over the other player. If you do have an advantage, that's going to help the other player out. So you're actually boosting each other up, basically.
Exactly, and it's got skill points. And one thing that adds to the realism for me, and I want input from everybody, is so I unlocked a badass sniper rifle. Sweet, right? I noticed then I was only able to carry 9 rounds with me for that gun.
Wow.
But you can scavenge. And
Yeah.
I was thinking that you're the resistance, you're not going to have a stockpile of weapons.
Yeah, you're going to have to get it along the way.
Exactly. And when you scavenge things, you can make things like pipe bombs during the game. You can't just go out and buy them.
Okay.
So
is there going to be like basically kind of like a crafting like skill tree? Like you'll put skills into crafting items. Like instead of creating 1 pipe bomb, you'll create 2. So that way you can like you don't have to get as many resources and stuff. Is there something like that?
I don't think so, but only certain people can create the pipe bombs. And there's blown up cars everywhere and dead bodies. You go after you shoot a body, you basically scavenge from them, and you might get a battery or something to do the pipe bomb. So it's not rare. It's just your team has to be coordinated, and that adds so much excitement for me.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's pretty interesting because I'm down for anything that's just different. Like, I like shooter gameplay and stuff like that. I like the controls and how those are laid out. It's just the repetition of it. Whereas this, it's just like, oh, we came across like all these dead bodies, or maybe there is like an enemy stockpile that you can get to, and so it creates like scenarios that we have to go. Okay, what do we have to do after this point?
I really like the teamwork aspect.
Yeah.
You were talking about Payday, one game I'd like to try out. I really like that whole aspect. That's what we try to do in Killing Floor a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like games where you can kind of like take a moment where you slow down and you can plan stuff out, because that adds pacing, like a different style of pacing. If you have a game that you're constantly firing and going and going and going, there's no pacing in it. There's no moment. It's just a constant fight, and you get overstimulated. Whereas you have parts where you can kind of take a break and be like, okay, what are we going to do next? What are we going to plan? You're able to kind of come down off that, basically that sensation high, and you can kind of come down, and then you go back. You can have another like rise into that enjoyment. So you can have like these peaks and valleys of your emotions, which can make a game better. So, that's kind of like like a base, I don't know, psychology level of it, but that can create a fun game because it's it's not the same thing over and over again. There's moments, there's lulls, and it just creates like a cool story basically. Well, what I was saying on like how that can fit in with a similar kind of killing floor style is that if at a certain point like it's like, okay, you need to hold this area for a certain amount of time, what they can have is like North Koreans are attacking you and their forces are getting stronger and stronger each like little wave. So that can kind of like be incorporated into it. But I like the idea of like you have to move on to the next area. Is that what it is? Like you take an area and then you move on and you keep going.
Yeah. So basically, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay. Well, I was gonna say, because you were wondering another game like Killing Floor. I hate to bring it up, but Left 4 Dead is pretty much Killing Floor, but with keep moving through different areas to new bosses to new. But personally, I can't stand that game though.
Yeah.
I prefer the rinse and repeat of Killing Floor. Even though I hate rinse and repeat, for some reason it works with Killing Floor, so I prefer Killing Floor over Left 4 Dead.
The thing about Killing Floor is it gets harder and harder. So it's more of an endurance thing. Whereas, like if you're playing Call of Duty, you're fighting the same guy over and over. There's no like, it starts off easy, then it's getting harder and harder and harder. Why a lot of people like Killing Floor is you're not guaranteed to win. That all the waves. So it's like when you do get up there, you're rising through it. You're getting better and better and better, and it's getting tougher and tougher. And then you have the final boss. So there is a progression basically to the game.
And throughout the whole time, you just start out with a base weapon, and you get higher, better weapons as you go through the waves.
Yeah. So there's that sense of, hey, I'm achieving something. I'm getting somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why you like that. It's not so much the rinse and repeat. It's the rinse and repeat with no change, basically.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll have to see on Homefront, because I didn't play the other one, but I saw enough to know that people liked it. That it was just a cool little almost like the Red Scare kind of story, because it's
Yeah.
supposed to be reminiscent of like back in the 80s when we had like movies about fighting communists and like Russians and stuff. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah.
Because
It's definitely one I'm gonna get, and it would be something I stream if I've got the people all the time.
the what?
If I've got like a consistent group of people,
Yeah.
because you could do a random, but that's like Rocket League. The two other people made.
You don't know who
suck.
you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You can get like the
So-
awesome like ace in the hole kind of player where he just comes through and he annihilates everything, or you get the guy like, I'm playing for the first time, guys.
Exactly.
Or, I'm playing on my brother's account or something like that. It's just someone that just doesn't know how to play, or they just suck, and that can really bring down your experience.
Yep.
Because that's how I feel like a lot of Rocket League has been, just playing by myself with teams. It's like I either get a cool team where I'll see two of them, they're got the same clan tag, and they'll sit there and set up and shoot in, and then I'll just provide support or defend or something like that. Or you'll just get the guys that are just like running into each other and fighting their teammates over the ball, and there's no cooperation there. Which that could happen in Homefront. If somebody's trying to like get all the kills so they can get more points, they're gonna be focused more on that and not helping out their teammates. Like if you're downed, let's say there is some sort of downed aspect to it where you're on the ground, they need to come revive you. It's like he's like, no, I don't care. You can shoot these monsters and get the gun and stuff. Or not monsters.
Yeah,
Koreans, North Koreans.
they have that where, and you've got health pens, but you only have a certain amount.
Yeah.
So
there is an endurance kind of to it. It's like, okay, you gotta be smart. You can't just sit there and use up all your med kits and stuff.
Exactly, and that's I think the scavenging portion of it, which I love, is going to be what makes the game for me. It may break the game for others, but
well, usually when they do that and they do it well, what ends up happening is the game forces you to use a different weapon that you normally don't. And when you do, you can go, hey, I like this weapon. And it causes you to try out like different aspects of the game, whereas you normally would have just stockpiled like ammo for one gun, or bought all the ammo for that one gun, and you wouldn't have ventured out and tried something different. So that can actually.
I don't think you can pick up other guns.
Oh, you just have your
But
own.
So you pick out when you buy the guns, you go into your armory, you can buy a crate, and then beforehand you're like, okay, give me this gun. So I had the bolt action sniper rifle, which was a 7.62 by 99 millimeter bullet or something like that. And I was only able to carry 9, but anytime I scavenged a dead body, I would pick up like 1 or 2 of those bullets.
Oh, okay.
So I never really ran out.
Yeah.
But being a sniper rifle, I'm back behind the team, and in the maps that they have, and being in public, I wasn't able really to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But with the team, I can say, okay, this is what the layout is and all that.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that since we're kind of not having any more wars, future shooters are going to run out of enemies to fight? Because now we're getting to North Koreans, because it used to be, Nazis, and then Russians, and then we're okay with Russians now, so now it's North Koreans. Do you think there's going to be a time where, shooters are going to have to go to space more often, and we can't do anything that's, Earth-based combat? Because everything's been done to death, and then we're not going to have too many other enemies?
Oh no more wars. Oh, that sounds so awful.
Oh no.
What is it going to do to the gaming, community?
We're gonna lose our inspiration.
For killing every mankind. I know.
Well, there's a lot of games that take place in past wars, so
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's always been like Nazis, Russians, now North Koreans. That actually seems kind of new. And then, nondescript terrorists. I guess the
And
terrorists
Space
could always
Marines.
be. I don't know. In space, what?
Marines.
Oh. Thought you were saying space Asians. I was like, what?
Space Asians. Get John in here.
Oh. Yeah.
So That's
Sorry.
all that I had for Homefront.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have any more questions.
No, I think I got the gist of it. You guys?
Yeah.
I just want to ask, do you have any footage of your playing?
No, because I couldn't record. I think
okay.
I might have some on Xbox, like 30 seconds of the Xbox record that.
Okay, because I would like to see some gameplay footage, see if it's something for me.
Definitely look on YouTube. I don't want to push any channels because I don't know any and they're not affiliated with us.
Right.
But there might be some people because if I had a capture card, I would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, that'd be cool to check out. You'll be our our home front specialist, basically.
Yeah. And wait, are you using your capture card, Charles?
I have been occasionally.
Okay.
Actually, where is it at? I think when I moved from the office, rest in peace. It's in one of the boxes over here.
Because if I can't get it to work when I stream this weekend,
Yeah.
would I be able to swing by and test it out?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to set up if you use OBS multi-platform. You can probably use it. I think we're getting too technical for the podcast. So yeah, just swing by this weekend and I'll let you out.
Cool. And then once we're done with the podcast, I'll just ask you about how to do tags for videos, just so it gets seen.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Secrets. Super secret. Wow. Okay, I'm getting tired.
So I got a piece of news.
What's that?
Doom, the new Doom game, anyway, it's not. They've officially said there will be no microtransactions.
Oh yeah, they've completely retracted.
What did they
No
say they were
way.
gonna have them?
Oh, I
At
thought
one
they were
point?
gonna have them. Oh.
I don't know.
They did. Oh, maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah. I bet you there were, plans for that, and they're seeing how much, feedback or negative feedback that they're getting from other games, and they're just like, hey, how about we just say no, and maybe that'll help sales? Which, that could, if you go into a game knowing, like, hey, there's not going to be microtransactions. If I buy this game, it's going to probably stay the same, so I'll invest in it. I won't be worried about it too much. And so that could actually maybe help them, or at least help, a little bit of marketing and PR.
Yeah.
I wonder how it's gonna do though, because I know like the last Doom, I think it was Doom 3, just people didn't like it. It just wasn't fun. I think it was just too dark. You couldn't hold a flashlight at the same time as your gun. That was the last one, right? Or was there one after that?
There was
Doom 3.
Yeah.
It was Resurrection of Evil, and I believe that was the end of the Doom lore. And that was quite a while. That's actually been a while since Resurrection of Evil.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe they'll bring back the franchise. Because I know, what was his name? The creator of the game. He made a new Doom level a couple weeks ago.
Carmack.
Not John McCormack. The guy that's what's his name? I don't know if he was a creator, but John Romero. There you go. Wow, I forgot his name. This guy, flowing hair. Mr. Romero worked on iconic games such as Quake, Commander Keen, and Wolfenstein 3D. So he's one of like the founding fathers of FPSs, basically. Did you guys ever play like the old like Wolfenstein or Doom games or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I grew up with Doom.
Oh yeah, Wolfenstein. We actually had an early version of Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Then we played another version because they also made Spear of Destiny, was supposed to be like a reimagining, and then I guess that I think Spear of Destiny is what led to Doom, because Spear of Destiny was a lot more fantasy oriented. And they wanted that, so then they created Doom afterwards, and it ran so much smoother and it ran so much better. It had so many options for map building, so the community got involved.
Yeah, if you can do that, your game is pretty much set, because then people are building your game for you pretty much.
Yeah.
I actually I was going through some stuff because I was packing it away and just getting it all organized. And I think I have a Doom collection, and I don't know if it has 3 or anything like that, but it has like a 1 and 2, and if they did come out with like any little extra map packs or anything like that, it came with it. But I'll have to install that and see, just go back and play those. Because I didn't really play much when I was younger. I just kind of got a hold of them every once in a while, but never really played them. But when I went to, or actually finally got to it, it was really fun. I don't know. It was just,
Oh yeah.
it's like one of those shooters you can kind of zone out almost a little bit on it, and then just sit there and get into like into like a gaming mode, or into your own little zone, and kind of just go through it. And I don't know. At least
For me, it was truly, because I played it as a kid. It was truly a real horror game to me. That game scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, because you didn't
Which
know what
one?
was coming around the corner.
Just Doom, right? The original.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
I
going into like the darkness and going against the pink demons and always being terrified.
You just have this feeling. It's in some parts where you're like in this desert wasteland. You hear screaming in the distance. You just really believe you're in hell.
Yeah.
I thought they just got that so well. But they have a Brutal Doom now. Maybe that's something you could also check out. It's just pretty much the original Doom,
Oh, Brutal
but
Doom
with
is
some
so
added.
good. I should stream on LowLevelBoss and Brutal Doom. Oh
Yeah.
man, that game is so fun.
That's where you do like the little execution takedowns and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and all the new reloading animations. It's
Yeah.
really well polished. It's fun.
That game sure has stood the test of time.
Yeah. Well, I think when you build something that basic, it's kind of it just makes sense. It works. Like everything else nowadays is built off Doom. Like the first-person shooter genre was made because of Doom and Wolfenstein 3D and those games, and they kind of are just boiled down to their basics of why those games are fun. So that's why they still hold up. And the fact that they're so pixelated and like the graphics are so dated, they actually don't look that bad. They almost look stylized, really. So.
Yeah, was Doom made by 3D Realms? Because I know they were published by ID. Because I know that 3D Realms did Wolfenstein.
Yeah. I believe it was. I think Doom was more of just those few big programmers that were really into making it. I think 3D Realms was part of it, but I think the studio was, or at least the developers were managed by a small group, basically.
Yeah, as the big companies, I'm not seeing, because the developers were ID Software, then Midway, and then Nerve later on, and then publishers were GTI Interactive, Activision, and then.
Oh, you don't see 3D Realm on Doom?
Control F, 3D.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did. No, I know that ID has a lot to do with a lot of
I'm not
3D
seeing
Realm games, but no, they didn't. Not with this one.
It looks like the crossover between Wolfenstein and Spirit Destiny and Doom is ID Software, the ID Software team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, they're the ones. They also had something to do with Wolfenstein, but that was also 3D Realms. So I'm a huge fan of 3D Realms. I grew up with all their games.
Yeah, is your background still the 3D Realms, like all the characters?
Oh yeah,
from all
that's
the
Yeah.
still my wallpaper.
yeah.
Those are great games.
I'm looking at it right now.
Again, another thing, even if it's just for the YouTube channel, I've got to do some Let's Plays on those. Let's see, Crystal Caves, Biomenace.
Biomenace.
Raptor. Oh, I'd love to do some Let's Plays.
Monster Bash. I want to do a
Monster
Halloween.
Bash. Play those on DOS.
They did Duke Nukem, but I never played Duke Nukem. The original ones.
I have it. I think I have Duke Nukem 3D, and
I ended up buying it. I bought recently. I found there was a sale on 3D Realms, and I bought all their games.
It was like their whole collection, right?
Yeah,
Like
well, it was
every
their
one
whole
of their games.
collection for an exception of their big ones, and I went ahead and bought those anyway.
I remember you told me about that. You're like, I just bought my childhood for $20. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
You didn't know if you were supposed to feel like happy or sad that your childhood was now boiled down to $20.
Right? Because I didn't even know they were all by the same studio. I just grew up like
That's interesting,
playing
yeah.
specific games, Grew up finding out they were all by the same people, It was crazy.
Like, well, if you like their style, you're gonna probably like all their other games.
Oh yeah.
All right, I am gonna need to go for the night.
Okay. Yeah, I think we all need to go because it's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
for the
wow, we got a
podcast,
lot
so-
of talk. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was gonna
feel
try
like
to do
we
it more
can-
bite-sized, but that kind of went out the window.
Yeah.
Well, you can
yeah.
cut it up.
Yeah, I might cut down some of the pauses and stuff, so it'll probably be a little bit shorter. But I mean, it's still gonna be
Yeah. Oh, that's
50
really
minutes or
that's
so.
really good. I like that we're able to continue talking so easily. I think everyone,
Yeah.
if I ever talk too much, please let me know.
No, you're fine. I do use you as like the ace in the hole if we're like running out of ideas, because you'll just sit there and like elongate on an idea, and then we'll come up with ideas and fill in the gaps and stuff. So
Yeah, so sometimes I'll
You're
just
our
try to like let you guys talk for a bit. My 2 cents here and then, but try
Yeah.
not to be
That's fair.
a loud mouth.
Well, yeah, I think we're doing okay. Because there is just like an overall kind of drought in gaming. I mean, there's a couple of these cool indie titles coming out, but there's nothing big, or there's no controversies or anything to really talk about. So we're kind of just waiting for the next like big thing to hit, really.
Yeah, really.
And then once I do, maybe we'll talk about that, and maybe that'll have some depth to it, news-wise. But for the time being, games are just kind of trickling out here and there, and like the one game that I was gonna try to talk about by this time was Mighty Number 9, but then that was canceled for like a third time. So
Mighty Number 9.
yeah, it's the guy that, I don't know if he made Mega Man, but he was a big part of Mega Man. He went off to do his own thing, and so he's making his own, basically a re-envisioning of Mega Man, like how he would make it today. And it's this blue guy with a cannon arm that's he's called Mighty Number 9. So yeah, but it's been pushed back. But if it makes the game better, then hey, it's worth it. Just to wait a little bit more. So I'm waiting for that, just to have like a cool little side-scrolling shooter, beat 'em up, whatever. I don't know, but yeah. There's no low-level boss news, so it's all just kind of putting out the podcast. I'm gonna be starting working on the website soon, so that way I can kind of organize our stuff, since we've got a bunch of content at this point. So just whoever's listening, be the lookout on that. It's LowLevelBoss.com. Right now it goes to our YouTube page, so if you want to get more of our content, you can go and watch our videos. This is probably where you're going to watch this or hear this particular podcast. I'm going to try to do a SoundCloud too, and so I'll put up news about that. It's really easy to find us. I noticed the other day, if you Google search Low Level Boss with no spaces, you'll find our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube. And actually,
nice.
I found some Reddit posts of ours. So if you're having trouble finding it later on, whoever's listening, it's Low Level Boss on, just Google it. No spaces, or lowlevelboss.com to find our YouTube page.
And make sure to check out the Twitch.
Yes, you'll find like a link to our Twitch. If not, it's Twitch TV Low Level Boss. So if you like this video, or however you heard it, please subscribe if you want to listen to more of our stuff. We're putting out at least one video a week. Once things get more settled in our personal lives, we're going to start putting out more content. So just keep an eye out for that, and I hope you come back, and I hope you liked our what we were talking about today. Sorry for my rambling; it's just been late, so.
Yep.
I hope you like it too.
Yay!
Yay.
Like, subscribe, and comment, and favorite, and share, and Twitter it. What?
Yep.
Sell your soul for us.
Twitter your Yahoo.